Okay, today we're going to talk about what do you really want? And I think it's a question most of us are half-hearted about. We don't ever sit down and really work out what it is we really want and why we want it. Let's start with a very common message. Everything, I mean, everything is energy. It's all, as you see here, what Einstein says, it's all energy, it's not philosophy, it's physics. So if we've got the right energy, we attract what we want to us. If we've got inappropriate energy, we attract the things we don't want. Probably that simple. And what's holding us back is in our head, which is partly true. The other truth is it's actually in our heart, or it's in our feelings, or it's in us because we've believed a lie for so long. And most of us focus on what we don't want. We don't want to get hurt. We don't want this. We don't want that. Be careful, blah, 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 blah. All that fear stuff that's been programmed into us out of well-meaning people, but it's still fear. It keeps us stuck and it keeps us driven towards what we don't want. To get what we want, we really need to be clear and focused on what that is, how it'll feel, how it'll look, how we'll act, the full gamut. And this was explained to me once very clearly. We're so focused on what we want, but it's like we're driving along looking at the GPS in the car and not looking out the windscreen and seeing what's in front of us, and then even going further and looking at the sky and the much broader perspective. We see things a certain way, and that's a lot of times why we don't get what we want, because we don't see any way with our logical brain that we can do that. We need to go into holistic thinking, more the right brain, the imagination, the bigger brain instead of the five senses of the small brain. Some guidelines for you to follow. This is all about you, and I'm not talking about me, selfish. It's all about me, forget everyone else. It is all about changing ourselves, but not at the cost of other people. The secret to all success, if you listen to Napoleon Hill, people like that, and John Demartini, the more people that help, the more successful you'll be. So it's focusing on ourselves, but keeping everyone else in the picture. And the first step and the hardest step, and the step that most of us, and I've done this myself, is skipped, is what do we really want in our lives? How do we want our lives to be? How do we want to live? And then focus towards that. Always be projecting towards the future, or even better still, projecting back from the future, instead of always living and rehashing the past. And what is it we think we don't have? This is huge, because most people will look at other people and they see what they have and they want it. But when you do the real work, when you really look at what you want, most of the time it's not what other people have. It's something that's very specific to you. That says it all. First step to change is to become aware of your bullshit. Now, okay, it's a bit of a harsh word, but you need to be aware of the lies and the deception. It's well known now that most of what we live is a lie. It is a huge lie. Some people call it the great lie. And when you start challenging things you hold true, it becomes very uncomfortable, because you've got to look at things and go, and most people would rather be lied to than admit most people would have been lied to, but rather admit they're living a lie. It's just the nature, it's saving face. We all like to be right all the time. We don't like to be wrong. It's a hard lesson, but when you can be wrong, when you can admit to mistakes, you have the greatest ability to learn. What is it you want? Write it down, play with it, go to the feeling place of it. What is it you actually want? There are a few pitfalls along the way, and hopefully this will make it a bit easier for you to avoid them. Lack of vision. It's lack of seeing the bigger picture, being open to the concept that things can come in ways you can't even imagine. There's so many stories I know of people out there that wanted a house or wanted money and something, and they could not see it. There's no physical way they could see it. They could imagine. They couldn't physically, non-physically, they couldn't visualize it. And some people describe it as a miracle, but what they're after came to them. But they had to have a bigger vision. Trying to be a good boy or a good girl, this is huge. A lot of mental work and sociology and those type of studies tend to indicate that our real stress starts between 0 and 7. Most of our traumas come from there. Most of our stress, most of our learning. I will take it comes from conception to 7, because I've seen a lot of people be traumatized while they're in the womb. You know, men bashing up women, just about killing them, and babies' life's on the line. That has a traumatic effect later on in life. Little kids, the amount of different types of abuse out there, you know, the verbal abuse, families that are yelling, the physical, the mental, the emotional, all aspects of abuse affect us, and we try to be good people to compensate for the fact that other people are messed up. Why did you stop dreaming? Who told you to? In most cases, it's usually school. Now, school, I'm not criticising the education system. It does what it does perfectly. It takes people, it develops their left logical brain so they'll be good workers. And you can be the CEO of a company, but a lot of times that's no different to the person on the floor. You're still a worker, you're still employed. Because you stop dreaming, you've just locked into that left brain. It's getting that right creative brain working. It's getting the big picture. It's seeing more for yourself. And playing small. How many of us play small to fit in, to conform, to play by the rules, to do what everyone says, to get mum and dad or family or the girlfriend or boyfriend, someone to love us? Playing small serves no one. It just limits you. And why do you believe you don't deserve? Deservability is huge.